everybody, it's Abby Cooper and Lewis Cooper, and today we want to share with you another of our favorite writing tips. So this tip is kind of like a game, which I think makes everything better, because who doesn't love games? You're never too old for games. And this game can also help you get unstuck if you find yourself not knowing what to write next, which BT dubs, that's a thing that happens to authors. And not just this one, a lot of them. But using a game/tip like this can help unstick you and take your story to new and interesting places. So, are you ready? The tip/game is called, dun dun dun, what is the worst thing that can happen? Now, before you start, brainstorming really terrible things, let me give you a few rules, okay? Because it wouldn't be a game if it didn't have rules, and games don't always really work unless they have rules, is the sad truth. So here's the rules. We're going to think of the worst thing that can happen, but it has to be realistic to your story. So let's say I'm hanging out with Lewis at an ice cream place. It's a dog-friendly ice cream place, as all ice cream places really should be, let's be honest. So Lewis and I are hanging out. I'm probably having mint chocolate chip. He's probably having vanilla, because that's the safest. And so, one of the worst things that could happen is that, a piano just falls from the sky and kills us. That would be bad. But it's not super realistic, unless my story takes place in some world where pianos just randomly fall from the sky and murder you. Then fine. But probably, if we're in an ice cream place, I'm writing more of a contemporary, hanging out with my dog, having a snack kind of story. So I need to brainstorm the worst thing that could happen within the parameters of my characters and my setting, so it's realistic. So let's think. Okay, Lewis and I hanging at the ice cream place, licking our cones, having a good time. Let's pretend you're writing that story. But then, oh no, you're stuck. What really happens next? Where do you go from there? We're just chilling, eating our ice cream. Okay, now what? Well, if you ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen, realistically and within the parameters of my story? You might think of a lot of interesting things. Many things are popping into my mind right now. What if my ice cream fell onto the ground somehow? Oh, that would be so sad. And then what if the ice cream people refused to give me a new one because they were like, Abby, it's your own fault. You should really be more careful. Oh, dear. Or what if, no, that's too sad. But realistically, what if Lewis accidentally got a lick of somebody's chocolate cone? Dogs shouldn't have chocolate, right? It's really bad for them. And so then probably we'd have to leave the ice cream place, which is sad, and we'd have to go to the emergency vet, which would be really sad and scary. But from a writing perspective, having to drop everything and rush to the vet really helps my story keep going. Because then what? Am I going to call my family, my friends to come be with me? Is Lewis going to have to... This is a terrible example. I'm getting really sad. But let's keep going. Is Lewis going to have to, have surgery or some such? What if it's, really expensive? How am I going to pay for it? Then your character has a new challenge. By asking what's the worst that can happen, it really can lead you into new situations, new settings, and new problems that your character needs to solve. It can really open a lot of doors. Okay, let's do a different example, because this one's depressing. Goodbye, Lewis example. What else is a bad thing that could happen at an ice cream place? What if they ran out of ice cream? Oh, I bet that could happen. I've been to Starbucks before and they've run out of coffee. I don't know how it happens, but it does. So what would your characters do then? Would they give up on their ice cream dream? I mean, Lewis and I are pretty persistent, determined ice cream eaters, so I don't think we would if we were the characters. We would probably, go to a different place. But, what could happen when we get to the different place? Maybe the different place has some different people there who weren't at the first one, who impact our story somehow. Maybe Lewis's best cat friend, Ivory. Shout out to Ivory. Love ya. What if Ivory was there? That could be really adorable. But then what if, Ivory was like, hey, Lewis, I don't really love ice cream. You want to go get some cat food instead? And Lewis would be like, yes, because he loves cat food. True story. And so what if they forgot to say goodbye to their parents and then they just took off to go find cat food? Well, that takes me, the parent / character, on a whole new adventure to track down my cat food eating dog. Not cat eating. Lewis would not eat a cat. He's scared of most cats, actually, except for Ivory, who's his friend. So you see what I'm doing here. You brainstorm the worst thing that can happen, and then from there, holy moly, people, your story can just take on a whole new, interesting life. In the comments below, I'm curious what your thoughts are. What do you think is the worst thing that could happen at an ice cream place to me and Lewis? Or to characters of your choice. And I hope that wherever your characters are, whatever they're doing or eating or experiencing, I hope this tip is helpful. It really has helped me on every book I've ever written. So leave a comment down below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more videos. And cool! Happy reading and writing! Woo!